All Jack's life, when he'd gone to bed, he'd reached for DP. He seemed to feel DP right now, his limp little body, his bean-filled belly, his worn trotters, so good for wiping away tears. He could even smell DP's slightly grubby, home-like whiff. "I'll find you, DP," Jack vowed into his tear-soaked pillow. "I'll come back when they're all asleep." After an hour, when Jack had cried all he could cry, he lay on his bed in his wrecked room and listened to the sounds of the house around him. He kept hoping to hear the front door open. If Gran phoned Mum at work and told her what had happened, she'd surely come home early. Mum understood how important DP was. She'd help him look. But the front door didn't open. Grandpa came and knocked on Jack's bedroom door at 1 o'clock and asked him if he wanted lunch. Jack shouted no. A little while later, Gran came to his door and asked him if he wanted to come and see the new angel on top of the tree. Jack shouted no, even louder. Then he heard the front door open and close. For one happy moment, he thought Mum had come home early, just as he'd hoped, but instead, he heard somebody walking away down the snowy front path. He didn't care who it was or why they were going. He no longer cared about Christmas. All he cared about was DP. It was nearly tea time when he heard the garden gate creak and footsteps coming back up the path. Hoping it was Mum, he jumped up and looked out of the window, but it was only Grandpa and Holly. Not long afterwards, there was another knock on Jack's bedroom door, and it opened. "Jack," said Grandpa, "Holly's got something she'd like to give you." Holly's face was puffy and tear-stained. Jack sat up on his bed, staring at the brown paper bag in Holly's hand. He could think of only one thing that could make up for what she'd done. They must have gone back to the motorway to look for DP. They must have found him. For the space of a heartbeat, Jack thought that was exactly what they'd done, because when Holly put her hand in the bag, he heard the rattle of belly beans. Then hope fled. Holly had pulled out a brand new pig. It was the same size as DP and made of the same toweling material, but it was plump and smug-looking, with sleek salmon-pink skin and shiny black eyes that looked like tiny beetles. "He's just the same look," said Grandpa. "Holly's very sorry, Jack. She bought it out of her pocket money for you." "I am sorry, Jack," whispered Holly. "Really, really sorry." When Jack didn't answer, Grandpa said in a falsely jolly voice, "He's a Christmas pig, aren't you, eh?" He took the pig from Holly and made it wave a plump trotter at Jack. "See, Jack? He likes you. Now, why don't you come downstairs with us, eh? We'll have some tea and watch a movie. We'll hang up our stockings together. And don't forget your new bike, Jack. Father Christmas is probably loading it onto his sleigh right now. Come on, lad. Come downstairs, bring the Christmas pig, and we'll all be friends." Jack got slowly off the bed and held out a hand for the Christmas pig. He felt, as Jack had expected, horrible. Slippery smooth instead of rough and worn. Jack hated his shiny black eyes and perky pink ears, which ought to be lopsided and grey.